Good morning, Vande Matram. Welcome all of you. Here we have a nice discussion for all of us. When the mind is still, when the mind is still, after listening this caption, you will be wondering of your own in your own way. Something is there. That blank is there, you have to fulfill. When the mind is still, definitely you will be exploring so many options inside you. Then what? Then what? This is about the silent mind, still mind, making the mind still. It's a nice operation, nice topic. Everyone has to give a thought. This is the 24th episode on speech control. We keep discussing continuously since days. This is the 24th episode being presented before you, and it is coming in the regularly in YouTube channels also. So with all your patience, I do salute your patience really. You people are sitting before me listening and of course enjoying the spiritual atmosphere, considering the spiritual truth that is hidden behind our talks, our classes. So it is a great time for me and it is a great realization for you. You may not have any good or pleasant comment upon me, but I do appreciate your patience. When the mind is still, I want to remind you again, this is the 24th episode of this series, Control of Speech, where we are going to describe when the mind is still, then what happens? What happens? The truth gets her chance to be heard. Truth gets her chance to be heard. Capital T. It is coming, expressing something before us, very pleasantly, very fluently, without any stop, without any confusion. It comes, speaks us something, but our dilemma, our problem, we are not in a position to listen it. Because our listening instrument, sense organ, that is ear, partially it hears the sound that are the surface, that is the on surface sounds. Sounds are actually these are floating on the existing on the surface. That's what they are able to listen. But definitely speaking, the truth, the inner truth, the absolute truth, which is supposed to be heard, is never heard, can't be heard by your external mind. For that, actually, you have to have open your inmost ear. The inner ear you have to open. For that, you have to still your mind. Your mind, you have to silence your mind. Your mind must be silent, unless otherwise it is made silent. Unless otherwise the mind is still, the truth can't get the chance to be heard in the purity of the silence. Two options are there. Two things have been said by the mother here, by of course Sri Aurobindo. It is from Sri Aurobindo. Number one is mind is still. Second, purity of the silence. Stillness of mind will create the purity of the silence. And that atmosphere which is created out of purity of the silence, out of the mind stillness. That atmosphere will allow the truth to get or a chance to be heard. Then only you will be in a position to hear the truth, because to accept the truth, it is not at all possible for us, because we don't know the truth. Whatever truth idea we are having about the truth, that is very much limited, very much partial, very much confined. With this small, confined, and a lesser idea, lesser ideology, resources, we can't be able to hear the truth that is descending. Because the voice of the truth, as described by Sri Aurobindo, you must have listened. A word ill heard shall speak, the soul obey. Ill heard. Ill heard means somebody can't claim not at all hard. Not at all hard for those for who are in the subsurface atmosphere. They don't know what really this life is. They don't know what this yoga is. For them, actually, it is unheard. They can't listen because they have not prepared. They are not prepared. They have not prepared. They don't know how to welcome the truth that is descending. Even if truth is residing on the top of the on our head's top of the head, somewhere, awaiting our call, echoing again and again, but we are not able because we don't know how to listen them. Even though we don't understand that language, that is the problem with us. Because nothing has been done, we are here in the surface or subsurface line. Staying on the surface and subsurface, how can we expect? How can we expect the third, heaven? The existence of third heaven somewhere in the space, how can we understand? Because mind can't analyze, mind can't understand, mind can't resolve. Mind has got the very minimum capacity to understand and analyze. That is what the problem. For that, sensual connection, sensual, parts are incapable. I will give one two examples on mind. Very interestingly, you can remember really what is the work of mind. But the thing is that don't confine to the surface mind to the super mind. Mind is having the layers. Ordinary mind, then your come starts spiritual mind. Spiritual mind, it has got four levels from bottom to top: higher mind, illumine, intuitive, and overmind. These are all four layers are known to be spiritual mind, which overmind is the top. But after overmind comes the spirit supermind. That is different. So, but we are talking about the people who are in the surface mind or subsurface mind, or that actually we are telling. They are limited, they are confined, not able to resolve the things practically happening here and there in our community, around us, in our atmosphere. Sri Aurobindo explains, writes on the mind beautifully. This has been written. Mind is not the last word here of the spirit. Not the last word. Because spirit is different, mind is different. Mind is the instrument. Spirit is the master. How can you say the manager's word is final? Of course, he is in charge. With the absence of this mind, of the spirit's interference, or in the absence of the spirit, it can take to some extent to the decision, or it can analyze it, or even it can seek the permission from the master. But when it is present, very active, standing on the front, how can you expect that manager's word is final? Mind is not the last word here of the spirit. Maybe the word, because It was in connection with the spirit. It has got some links before carrying out the order, materializing the decision. It is seeking something, so it has got its value, but not the final one. Like this manager and owner, here also mind and the spirit. Mind can't be our last conscious expression, can't be our last conscious expression, because mind is fundamentally an ignorance seeking for knowledge. Fundamentally mind is ignorance. It is ignorant what it is doing, asking for knowledge. Knowledge is not the final thing. In the ignorance, in the darkness, mind crumbles, gambles. It tries to go and inquire the things, and whatever it feels, it finds. It feels it is final. But wisdom, it is seen in the soul's vision. Knowledge, 100% mental phenomenon. But so far this mind is concerned, not the last conscious expression, because mind is fundamentally an ignorance. Fundamentally, mind is an ignorance. What it is doing? Seeking for knowledge. Mind is the instrument of analysis and synthesis. Instrument with which you can do something. What it does, already you know. Fundamentally ignorance. Mind is the instrument of analysis and synthesis. Two things normally mind does. One is analysis and the second is the synthesis. But not the essential knowledge, not of the essential knowledge. Whatever it sees, whatever it finds, whatever is beyond its reachability, what source it is having. With that only it can give some comments, analysis and synthesis, but it can't move to the final truth. That can never happen. Mind is the instrument of analysis and synthesis, but not the essential knowledge. Essential knowledge, true knowledge, it comes from the soul's reference. This mind and is the ignorance, is an ignorance. It is seeking for knowledge. It is not the final knowledge. It is relating to mind, that's what. Man's mind is not original creator. Or is not the original creator, it is the analyzer, synthesizer, demonstrator. It has a resolver. It tries to think, not even not in the full swing. It can do the final analysis, final synthesis. Man's mind is not the original creator, it is intermediary. Not the final creator, it is intermediary. Things were moving on or falling apart. It was on the surface or in the subsurface area. So just it is giving some impulse to come little bit atop, to hang on the ground. But it is not the essential knowledge. It is just an intermediary. In between it is just a linking, trying to link. But actually it is intermediary, not the final creator, original creator. Mind by itself is the incapable of, ultimate certitude. Certitude. Ultimate certitude. It is not incapable of this ultimate certitude. It can't reach. It does not know what truth is. As per its development, to some extent, it can be able to analyze whatever is having it has whatever the sources it is having. It can't see beyond that, because it looks, works, and analyzes within its limits what is available to it and permitted atmosphere, I can say. With that it works. Even when most luminous during the course, it is possessed only by a thin, reflected, and pallid light. Most reflected, most illumined, most dazzled, most splendor. You can use any phrase behind, like whatever you like. But Sri Aurobindo tries to explain. even when most luminous it is possessed only of a thin, reflected and pallid light, not the truth. So for that actually what we have to do, how to go? When the mind is still, make the mind still, then truth gets a chance to be heard. Truth gets a chance to be heard in the purity of the silence. That mind you have to make purified, make it still, so that the truth will get a chance to rush in, to be heard by those who are really your purity, gained purity of the silence. Thank you for now. We can meet later in the next class. Probably this is the definitely this is the 24th episode, and in the next episode we'll try to complete because we don't want to linger anything more. That will be the 25th episode on speech control. With that, we'll try to conclude our this long and lingering discussion maybe tomorrow. Thank you.